Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Nexus Gaming Series match between Adults with Jobs and Team Maroon. This is a Division A West match for Week 4. I am RavenX and I will be your host this evening. We are going to be getting Game 1 started here in just a few moments. I'm going to go ahead and introduce both of our teams and we'll hop right into team number 1. Teams are anxiously waiting in the lobby, so let's go ahead and get right to it. Number one, or first team we have is Adults with Jobs. They have a current record of 3 wins, 1 tie, 1 loss. And looking at their roster, we have Retrofunk, the captain, playing the tank role. Nats is on support. Randy and Marmaduke, both on a flex role. One of them, I was told, is the solo laner normally, so that allows for a little bit of flexibility on both of these, or on with this draft for them. And then we have Tatva, who is a dedicated DPS. Now, on the side of Team Maroon, his current record is 4-1-1. They are evenly scored with Adults with Jobs. We have Coca-Cola on a flex role, Space Bacon on support. Samael is also on flex. Edgardo GL on a dedicated assassin role. And then Blanket, who is also the captain. Let me go ahead and give him the tag he deserves. He is rocking the main tank. So, we're going to go ahead and hop right in to the draft. Looks like we have, there it is. Make sure we didn't lose our game. Alright, so game number 1, like I said, let's talk about the coin flip here. Team Maroon actually won the coin flip. They opted to ban out Braxis Holdout. Then Adults with Jobs banned out Infernal Shrines. Team Maroon's first map pick was Towers of Doom. This is where we're going here in just a couple of moments. And then Adults with Jobs picked up Sky Temple. So I'm excited to see a little bit of different objectives between Towers of Doom, all about capping, and then Sky Temple is all about holding the point as long as possible. So hopefully we get to see a little bit of different types of styles of play from both of these teams here. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and ask teams if we are ready. Alright, both teams have given the go-ahead, so we're going to go ahead and get started in the draft of game number 1 on Towers of Doom for this Div A West Week 4 match. Alright, so with the first map pick by the side of Team Maroon, we will have first pick and first ban of Heroes by Adults with Jobs. Interesting to see. I've not casted either of these teams yet this season, so I'm interested to see what we will get from these two. Now, Towers of Doom, like I said, all about capping a point, all about getting those shots on the objective, on the opposite team's core. A lot of times you see either one or the other of a really heavy dive, looking to just be aggressive while the other team is attempting to cap, or just looking to poke while your team goes and caps the other objectives. So again, it'll be interesting to see what we get from each side, each team from this. Alright, and we see a Zeratul ban from the side of Adults with Jobs. That is not one I see too often. Not sure if that's it was something they scouted, or maybe there's something in the meta I'm not quite aware of. I do know the Void Prism, while it's fallen out a little bit, still has a great wombo potential. So we'll look to see. Maybe their draft is something that was weak to the potential dive of Zeratul. So we will see what the response is on the side of Team Maroon. And the response is to ban the Garrosh. Garrosh, great ban. It's one of the top tanks at this point in time, so no question there. May have caught them off guard that the Zeratul was banned, unless, of course, like I said, they have a very strong Zeratul player, in which case maybe they were not surprised to be target banned there. Alright, number one pickup by Adults with Jobs is Maev. Love to see Maev, definitely a high priority now. Right now, her dive offers some fantastic wombo potentials, so looks like we're likely going to see Adults with Jobs to go all out with the dive. And the response by Team Maroon is to pick up Medivh and Stukov. Stukov pairs very well with Maev. He is one of the top supports, if not the top support at this point in time. So that's a fantastic pickup for them, both as a denial and just to help them out. And then a Medivh has the potential, if played well, to completely throw off anything Maev can bring to the table, with portals out from the Warden's Cage and the shields on anything caught in the Wombo. It's a fantastic counter, but it really depends on how well their Medivh player can do. So I'm excited to see how they do with the Medivh. All right, and then the Adults with Jobs at this point in time might want to think about picking up their support and either their offlaner or their tank. There is a tank in ETC and Gina, so they're looking to heavy wombo. ETC, of course, with the Mosh, great zoning. Struggles a little bit against the silence of Stukov. There's definitely plenty of counters on the side of Team Maroon to shut that down. But the stage dive is always a potential threat because of his pseudo global. True global, but it's only ever so often is it up. And then the Jaina, of course, all around great mage. The AoE offers substantial punch on the Maev or ETC lockdown. And the response ban from Team Maroon is Malfurion, arguably the number 2 support, right behind, or far behind Stukov, however you want to look at it. Can combo well with the Maev Jaina, as well as choking things out. Just being a choke of a support from Adults with Jobs. So Adults with Jobs may counter or may be able to pick up an Alexstrasza with what they're looking to pick up with this comp. Alexstrasza is a fantastic a fantastic addition to what they're showing so far. I'm curious as to what their ban would be. Maybe a tank of their own. Li Ming. Okay. So Ming offers some good poke potentials. Not likely you're going to catch her in the Wombo unless she's super far forward or she opts to go Calamity, and then they just time it properly while she's there and she's dead. So on the side of Team Maroon, at this point, they can hold off on their tank. I would like to see them pick up their essentially their carry damage at this point and their solo laner. Blaze, Sonya, and then damage-wise, they need something to pick up what Medivh is going to lack. Something that's not going to be too super able to be womboed too well. I'd like to see maybe the Hanzo here Hanzo would keep the adults with jobs from trying to wombo, though I doubt they would pick Hanzo with what they're showing. So now that they have the Maya of Jaina, it's not much of an option for them. So they do have to actually take their tank and solo laner. Sonya, number really high solo lane right now. I would put her ever so slightly behind Blaze just because what he offers. And then Joanna, with her Unstoppable on her trait, has good counter potential to the Maiev, to the ETC. Both of the heavy stuns and displacements she can shut down pretty hard with her trait. So that just leaves them to pick up their DPS. I would have liked to have seen them hold off on the Joanna, because the side of Adults with Jobs has shown their hand in regards to what damage they're going to have. Their DPS isn't necessarily going to really change based on these last two picks, the support and the solo lane of Adults with Jobs. I'd like to see the Blaze and Alex Stralza here. Okay, we're going to see a Varian and Alex Stralza. Okay. So, Varian... not sure what synergy he brings to his team. He's a decent solo laner. He has many options with him at 4. You know, whether you want to go... well, 2 options. Twin Blades isn't a thing. But if you want to go Colossus Smash, if you want to go Taunt, I don't see right now a great taunt target. It can help to shut down Medivh. You taunt Medivh and then kill him before he finishes his stacks. You're going to have a difficult time getting close to Stukov, and honestly, taunting Stukov can hurt because he's going to auto you, and those hit like he hits like a truck. So the DPS pickup, like I said, Hanzo. I'm trying to think what else would fit well here. They need something that's going to have a decent bit of range. They have a little bit of a mage in Medivh, so I don't see anything like a Chromie. Gul'dan. Okay, so they're looking for waves of Qs from all of their damage. They're just going to sit back and throw energy waves at everyone. So, all right. Looking at the draft, I would give it to Adults with Jumps. Honestly, I'm a huge fan of the aggressive play, especially on the map, and the synergy is not quite there on the side of Team Maroon in regards to, you have an okay aggressive, like Joanna can be very aggressive, Sonya can be aggressive, but you Gul'dan and Medivh want to kind of sit back and just drop their damage as frequent and from as far range as possible. So I'm going to kind of leave it to the Stukov to kind of disrupt as much as possible. There's not really long reach on Gul'dan and Medivh aside from the ease of Gul'dan. He can poke a little bit, but it's not a huge deal. And like I said, you have a ton of synergy, except for the Varian. The Varian, I'm going to be very interested to find out what he's going to take at 4 to assist the wombo that they've set up on the sides of Adult with Jobs. But let's go ahead and introduce our teams. On the blue side, Adults with Jobs, we have they're circling their core. Retrofunk on ETC, Myrmiduk on Maiev, Tatva on Jaina, Nats on the Alex Stralza, and Randy on the Varian. On the side of Team Maroon, we have Edgardo GL on Gul'dan, Space Bacon on Stukov, Blanket on Joanna, Samael on the Sonya, and then our Medivh. Who is our Medivh? Because it's not showing his name. Coca-Cola. Alright, so looks like Sonya's are gonna opt to kind of hang out top. Not a whole lot of fight gonna be happening mid. Coca-Cola's just gonna get whatever stacks he can get. are going to see our rotation from both teams at this point in time. Now, on the rotation game, definitely have a much stronger rotation on the side of Team Maroon, and they take in Alex Straza really quickly. Like I said, they're going to be able to rotate very aggressively with the Joanna, with the Medivh, checking out where the rest of the team is, and just giving the vision, letting them know when can we invade, when can we poke. Now, Totfa and Marmaduke are up here trying to get a kill on the Sonya, and they do in fact gank her pretty well. Now, in the solo, it looks like they have Varian soloing, or not soloing. He is actually rotating with his team, and him and Retrofunk are taking a ton of damage. So in 1 kill apiece, we do see Marmaduke on the side of Adults with Jobs soloing. Not often you see that. Typically you see the Maiev rotating for ganks. I guess based on their comp, they decided that Marmaduke on the Maiev is going to be their best option. And they're going to rotate with the Varian and the ETC to be aggressive, look for picks that way. So, take a look at our number 1 talents. We have Prog Rock, Pursuit of Vengeance, Circle of Life, High King's Quest, and Twin Blades. So, they're going to look to prove me wrong on the Twin Blade statement. Fingers of Frost on Jaina. On the side of Team Maroon, we have Laws of Hope, Echoed Corruption, Growing Infestation, Warpaint, and Raven's Intellect. So nothing too out of the ordinary. Looking for a lot of push on the side of Team Maroon here. I apologize, for some reason our team names were a little bit messed up, so we've got those fixed now. So we'll see how this Twin Blades works out for them. Maybe they were looking to make up a little bit of the damage they were potentially missing. Sustained damage, I guess. So we have a Kappa piece top, and we're going to go ahead and fight 4v4 bot. A nice zone out by ETC, however. Portals do save almost everyone. Blankhead is trying to get out, but he is caught before he can get to the portal, and he goes down. That is going to give Tatfa the ability to go ahead and cap for their team. Dragon Queen comes out to go ahead and zone. Coca-Cola in a ton of trouble here. He portals out just in time. Take a look at his stacks so far. We are up to 23 already, so more than halfway there. Alright, so with that we have almost a full level lead on the side of Adults with Jobs. Tadva way too far out. She's going to most likely get picked out here. Yeah, definitely too far out in lane. Not really worth the soak to be there. So she goes down. That is giving Team Maroon a little bit of an opportunity to catch up. Yeah, the camps caught or picked up by the side of Adults with Jobs. They're going to look to walk these in, try and equalize the damage done in the bottom lane. However, with Gul'dan and the overlapping Qs on heroes from Medivh, these are not going to survive for very long. Take a look at our level 7 talents. We have Echo Pedal, Bonds of Corruption, Life Blossom, Second Wind, Iceborne Fury. We have a invade on Team Maroon's siege camp here. It is a 3v4 currently, however, with Tafa coming in, that's going to give them a lot more of an ability to actually put some pressure on this camp. Randy is taking a lot of damage. Retrofunk also everybody taking a ton of damage from the waves. That entire team is so low. We see 3 go down, 4 go down, 4 kills, 3 of those to the Medivh. This is looking like a bloodbath on the side of Team Maroon. They're getting kills left and right. And with that, that's 2 free shrines for Maroon. No one's alive to contest that. So on the other side, level 7s, we have Blessed Momentum, Bound by Shadow, Within My Reach, Poison Spear, and Arcane Explosion. So I'm going to kind of look at the Maiev talent here for a moment. She's looking for full Umbral Bind, Dive and Cleave, trying to get as much of a pull as possible for that Wombo. And 28 to 32, level 10s are picked up by the side of Team Maroon. Not sure if Adults with Jobs is going to give them much of an opportunity to really make advantage of those. Marmaduke is up here poking at Samael. Very low potential gank can come, however, their Team Maroon's all bot at this point in time. Probably looking to pressure that in with the next objective here. They are going to want to go ahead and take a camp and try and get as much pressure in this lane as possible. If they could get that healing well, that would help tremendously. But it looks like they opted not to do the camp. They're going to go ahead and just set up for the objective at this point. Now, set up quite nicely, but they went ahead and moved elsewhere, so they gave up that positioning. They had the potential to split the side of Adults with Jobs. They're going to go ahead and go in on the Water Elemental. Comes out right away. We have the Warden's Isolation goes out. Team fighting everywhere. People are all over the place. Tadfa looks like she's the first one to go down. Dragon Queen comes out, going to go ahead and blow everyone off the capture point of the siege camp. They do cap. However, in the meantime, we do lose Medivh and Gul'dan. However, that fight turned really quickly. We're actually going to have a full team wipe on the side of Adults with Jobs. All the ults came out. It's interesting. The charge is the alt and the overlay up here. Alright, so with that, they get another 4 shots. They could have opted to push this just a little bit, but they're going to go ahead and fall back and do their siege camp. And again, that's 4 kills to 11. They're getting a ton of value. Take a look at the numbers here. Where is the majority of their damage coming from? It looks like Gul'dan followed by Medivh, so that's definitely what you would expect. Gul'dan is just putting out a lot of damage. Tadfa, they do not care. Team Maroon's just going to go in under tower and just dive hard trying to take down that Jaina, but looks like they are going to have to retreat. The Water Elemental does come out, charge in on Blanket, but he's going to be just okay, while Medivh and Gul'dan just continue to throw out Qs to put as much damage, AoE damage as possible. And Randy is going to go ahead and go down. The Cleansing Flame goes up to try and protect Tadfa. It does do so. They're going to look to fight this, however, with a 3v5 at this point. That's not the best option for them. Nats is actually going to go ahead and go down, as well as the ETC. So turning on that fight, not the best idea. But Team Maroon is looking to be very aggressive with what they have here. I said early on, I thought maybe their wave clear was going to do them well. It looks like their team fight is also actually doing very well. 4 to 14, 13 are picked up by Team Maroon. Everyone is back up, however, they're not quite at the altar. Randy going hard in on Edgardo, and Tadfa's scary low. Do have a nice mosh on 2 people, however, it is interrupted by the Medivh. Jaina goes down. Randy is still all over Gul'dan. They know they gotta kill him because he's doing most of their damage. Edgardo, that's a great portal gets Edgardo and Space Bacon out, and they pick up 2 kills in the meantime. Marmaduke looking to get as many resets as possible. Unfortunately, a little bit ambitious. She does also go down. Team Maroon is just destroying in every engage. They get everyone out alive with the portals, keeping people alive with the Stukov, with the Medivh shields, and then just hammering out the damage with the Qs from both Medivh and Gul'dan. They're going to go ahead and opt to boss at this point. It looks like they're safe to do that with Maiev just now coming up. They did take a tower bot, so Adults with Jobs are going to have to take that back. So this is a free boss for Team Maroon. It's going to give them 4 shots, bring the score to 10-32. So they're in a very, very strong position going into this next tower phase, which is 3 towers. They could potentially end the game with another team fight on the objective. Now, even talents here, we do have the potential at this point in time that if Adults with Jobs wants to go ahead and take the fight, this would be their opportunity. Let's take a look at the talents here. Encore, Shadow Armor, so continuing with the blanks. Pacify, I would imagine, would opt to go on the Gul'dan, try and get him killed as much as possible. Juggernaut and Stormfront, try and get some more safe blizzards from Jaina. They look to fight. Looks like they're trying hard to get this fight before 16. Team Maroon is not giving it to them, making it difficult for them to fully engage. They're just going to go ahead and back off and move up to the objective. They still don't have 16, so they have to be careful. This is almost an even fight for Adults with Jobs. So if they take this properly, this is going to turn around really quick. However, everyone's stacking up for all of that AoE from Edgardo. Marmaduke goes in, pulls 3 people in. There's a 3-man mosh. Randy going to go all over the Gul'dan. Medivh goes down. Nice, fierce, saving everyone in that. Retrofunk is in the wrong part of town. He goes down. We see a dead Joanna, dead Gul'dan, and Adults with Jobs turn this fight very nicely. Samael trying to spin, keep alive, but no, she ultimately goes down as well. This is a good position. They got 3 altars and the ability to actually take a tower. They took a tower back bot, so they're going to look to take a tower here. They're going to send Tatva to cap up here, and then they will try and get this tower before they cap the other 2. That will be 10 more shots and start to even out the score just a little bit. Bring it down to 10-18. However, they do need to cap quickly before the rest of the team shows back up. That's the thing about this map, is that it has the potential for comebacks. You aren't guaranteed to win just because you're ahead. One bad fight, and just like with any late game objective or any objective in the late game, you take a bad fight, you look to lose your advantage pretty quick. And because of that team fight, the game has evened out, not only in points or in score just a little bit, but also in talents. We have level 17 by both teams reached first by the side of Adults with Jobs. Now they're looking to pressure in here. However, they do have to be careful. They still, on even talent tiers, are going to struggle to take a fight without alts. They have Mosh down. Now let's take a look real quick at our talents. I did not talk about the alts, but we have Blessed Shield, Horrify, Flailing Swipe, Wrath of the Berserker, and Polybomb. Level 16s. So we have Vengeful Knives, Draconic Discipline, Banner of Ironforge, Numbing Blast. Alright, Adults with Jobs looking to be aggressive here. They're going to go ahead and go in hard. However, the peel is there. Joanna can walk out okay. With the portals, however, they can just portal right in on top of the backline of Adults with Jobs, and with that, Alex Tronza goes down. Marmaduke hurting pretty hard here. We do have a Mosh going down, however, great silence by Space Bacon to shut that down. Retrofunk taking a ton of damage, however, Randy does not care at all. He goes in and erases Gul'dan. He ends up giving his own life for it. So with that exchange, we are 3 men up to 4 on the side of Team Maroon. So as long as they don't get pulled into a really bad position, they'll be okay. However, Samael is eating tower shots, barely going to get out of there. However, she's going to actually go down to ETC. No, that is a great save by Space Bacon. So that was actually really done well by Adults with Jobs, but they weren't able to secure the kills they needed. So at this point, they're really low, and they have to be careful not to go down. They do actually finally take out the Joanna. Now, a shot was grabbed, a tower was grabbed on the side of Team Maroon, so all in all, that did come out in their favor. They are still 2 shots, depending on the number of showers that they own at the time, from winning. Boss back up, one team fight gives the opportunity to cap. So if the boss is taken by the side of Team Maroon, then they have the opportunity to just win with a single tower and objective. Now there are 2 towers up, so this puts Team Adults with Jobs in a little bit of a rough spot. They can't leave this boss up for too long, because it makes it so they're kind of in a no-win situation no matter where they go, that there's going to be shots taken by Team Maroon. So they're going to go ahead and opt to come up here to this top camp. Medivh is scoping, everything is out for them. Let's take a look. Finish up our level 16. We have Holy Renewal, Holy Fury, Ruinous Affliction, Hellstone, Pox Populi, Brilliant Reaction. Pox Populi, it's not seeing that one as often. However, okay, we do have our Engage. Adults with Jobs are going to go all in on this with the towers up. They know that they've got to take a good engage here so that they can get as many points as possible. There's a really good polybomb on Randy, however, it doesn't spread too much. Tadfa is feared and she's really far out. Samael all over her. She does go down, even though she was almost kept alive by the Cleansing Flame. Nice 2-man mosh, however. Space Bacon's going to go ahead and shut that down. Randy eats a ton of shots from Medivh. He looks to be okay. Now, just the Jaina taken down in that fight, this puts Team Maroon in a really good spot. Adults Jaws has no option but to go ahead and fight this. And the ETC goes down. Randy's going to try to get Edgardo down. Trying so hard. He does get the kill. Ultimately, Maev gets the kill. Samuel gets pulled. Medivh gets the last shots, and that is game for Team Maroon. As a great game by both teams. Ton of good engages on both teams. I know it looked like Team Maroon was owning that game pretty hard, but ultimately it was well fought. Adults with Jobs came back and did their best to fight back in. It's just they were so far behind in the early game that they couldn't quite coordinate where they needed to. So ultimately the big early game lead for Team Maroon did help them substantially. Now let's take a look at the stats here. A lot of deaths on the back line of Adults with Jobs. Alex Straza, 7, 6 from ETC, 6 from Varian. Everyone taken many deaths. Mostly just due to being poked out hard from the Gul'dan. Jonah went in, pulled everyone in, small area. Gul'dan throws his abilities, Maya throws his abilities, Sonya gets in where she can, and the Wombo that was there didn't really help, or didn't really come online. They opted for the containment disc, so they decided not to go for the Wombo. We're going to go ahead and we're going to try and remove people from the fight, either with the disc or by just shoving Varian down your throat. That did work okay. Gul'dan died 4 times. A few of those were from Randy just constantly being on top of him. But with the Stukov, the Medivh, and his own self-sustain in the Drain Life, Gul'dan just did not want to go down. So, side of damage, we have Sonya Varian. Actually, the front lines ended up topping out hero damage in the game. And then followed by Gul'dan, Maev, Medivh, Jaina. So, pretty spread throughout the entire team. There wasn't a big significance in the difference on the hero damage. However, where you do see the difference is the amount of heals that came out between Stukov and Medivh versus Alex Straza. Nearly twice as much sustained healing or shielding done by Medivh and Stukov, and that is I think a huge part of what gave them a lot of those early game wins, is just the amount of being able to stay alive for as long as possible to put out the damage that they wanted. And then 10 kills on Medivh. He played very well, portaling in, just getting them Joanna and Sonya on top of the back line, and then Gul'dan, Medivh going in when it was a little bit safer to continue throwing abilities on them. So we're going to go ahead. This is, again, a great game played by both teams. Well done, Team Maroon. We're going to go ahead and update our score, and we will get everyone into the lobby here in just one moment. Game number 2 is actually on Sky Temple. So I'll go ahead and open that up here. Might have to fix our team names here. Throw some music on while I work on that here. So we have... I'm not sure what's going on with my my names of my teams. They're all off center, and I don't know why. So let's figure that out. For now, they're gonna kind of just be in the middle. So we updated our score. Let's go ahead and get our teams in the lobby here. Move myself to observer. In the meantime, team, or viewers, if you're interested, so far, if you're just joining us, just want to do a quick recap. Adults with Jobs did go down to Team Maroon in Game 1 in a pretty impressive fashion by both teams. I do think they played well. Like I said, the stats showed that Team Maroon had a pretty handy lead, and it was a little scary for them there at the end, but ultimately they did well. They did what their comp, what I believe was designed to do. We'll have to ask in the post-game interview if that was a designed comp or if it was reactionary to what they saw. But got the Adults with Jobs in the lobby here, just missing one. And this is a Division A West match for Week 4. If you are enjoying yourself, enjoying the cast, feel free to throw me a follow. I am actually 1 day worth of casts away from making affiliate. I'm extraordinarily excited to get my own shiny sub button and emoji. I'm very much enjoying the streaming, and I'm glad you're along for the ride here. I hope that you do come back every night that I cast. I am looking to cast 3 to 4 nights a week. I have 3 games lined up so far. But I have my own team to manage and games to play, so for this season, at the very least, I'm going to cast in between when I have the ability to do that. Both teams are in the lobby. Let's go ahead and get our draft set up. Team 2 does have first pick. Make sure that we have everyone with the correct crowns. Alright, we do have a a go-ahead from both teams. So, like I said, game number 2, go ahead and hop into our draft. So, Sky Temple, it's one of the maps I have actually don't believe I've seen yet this season from my own cast or my own team even. I've yet to play on the map. I'm thinking people are staying away from the map just because of its snowball potential in the bot lane. It's very easy to push hard early, go for that second objective on the tower, and then boss to push for an really early keep and get a huge advantage. So teams may want to stay away from this map as much as possible. But this was the map choice of Adults with Jobs. So with that aggressive comp that they played Team 1, I wonder if they'll look to do that again. However, since it was shut down in such a great fashion by Team Maroon, they may opt to go a different route. But with the Maiev ban by Team Maroon, apparently they were very impressed by the Maiev play. Ultimately, he did play it very well. The Maiev got quite a bit of damage in, plenty of 2-3 man pulls that would have given the potential for kills had they not been against what they were against. You know, there was a ton of saves available for Team Maroon that the Wombo that would have been there, even just the basic skill combos, weren't able to do as much damage as they should have. No, I actually just got notification. I did, in fact, pick up my affiliate while streaming this cast. So, yay me. And on the side of adults with jobs, we have a Stukov ban. So, the Stukov was picked up by Team Maroon. It's a smart ban by them. Stukov just wreaks havoc all over the place with the silence. Tons of heals. Just all in all, good ban. So I'm excited to see what kind of comp we're going to get now from Team Maroon with their first pick. They may kind of throw something generic out there, feel out what adults with jobs will respond with. I do not know the tendencies of either of the teams, but knowing the map, you wanna have a strong foreman. The solo lane doesn't matter quite as much because top lane, you don't tend to end through top lane. It's typically bot lane, so you want to make sure that you control the bottom lane as much as possible. And they go first round Medivh. So they like the Medivh play. Apparently they have a very strong Medivh player. I'd love to talk to him about that post game. He did his team well in the shields, in the portals, and then his damage output. He did complete the Q quest, baseline quest, relatively quickly. I don't believe he ever died and lost it. Now with the Medivh, they are going to look to kind of want to counter that. Anything, and Garrosh and Malfurion are definitely ways to do that. Anything that comes to the portal is going to eat a taunt and then a silence. So very good options. That does not allow Team Maroon to use those tools against them. Malfurion running through the portal and just silencing everything is nasty. So it's good pickup by them, especially with the Stukov ban. So they've taken the top two supports. They've shown they will play Alexstrasza. Don't know that Team Maroon will, but that forces them to go to another option in their hero pool. Maybe a Rhaegar, possibly an Uther. But I imagine that unless Adults with Jobs wants to second round ban yet another support and choke it even further, now would be a good time for Team Maroon to go ahead and pick one up. Okay, so we see a Dahaka and a Tychus. So Tychus is a great counter to Garrosh. His Arma means nothing to Tychus' trait. Dahaka, good solo laner, good global presence, especially on this map. Being able to be top and then show up to bot objective whenever he feels like it. Haven't seen him too much this season so far. It seems like Sonya and Blaze have been king and queen of the solo lane. So Dahaka gets very little love. Now, if I was Adults with Jobs, I would opt to ban more supports, and they do go with the Alexstrasza ban. Alexstrasza falls, I would imagine, in the third ring of supports. I think I would, depending on the comp, I would personally prefer a Rhaegar. But since it is a point control map, Alexstrasza is a decent option with her double ultimates. is they are winding down. They're thinking real hard about the ban, and they opt to ban Phoenix. So it's an okay ban. Phoenix is strong, generally all around. I don't know that he really hurts what they have. Maybe it's something what they were going to opt to move into. So, it's not a bad ban. Phoenix is strong in general. So, he's off the board. Now, that does leave... interestingly, Hanzo was not picked up by either team last game. I wonder if we'll see him here. Now, with the Garrosh, I imagine they're looking for something to just blow up what is thrown, throw root, and then destroy. We get a... Excuse me, apologies. Ragnaros and a Falstad. So either of those are potential solo lane options. And while they're not super in the meta right now, they do have push potential. Let's see, Ragnaros. I've seen teams run Rag with the 4-man and opt to solo lane something else. And like I said, Falstad gives them the potential to do that. Falstad gives the global, that is, the counter to Dahaka. Counters the global presence of Dahaka just a bit. And then we have a Charism and a Joanna pickup by Team Maroon. So Joanna did them well last game. Charism may have been a comfort for them. Does bring a bit of damage to their team. All of their team has nice damage, and then an insta-lock Lily. It's good counter to Tychus, okay counter to Charism. So yeah, the teams definitely not the most meta of characters on both teams, but we'll see what they can do with it. I'm curious if Adults with Jobs is going to kind of look to do that whole I'm gonna hard push bot lane, leave Falstad in the solo, maybe even dual lane him, while Ragnaros pushes hard with his team bottom. They actually, apologies, I didn't actually catch it until just now. Malfurion Lily, that's a decision. Double support has fallen out quite a bit, but I guess with the damage on the other team, the extra sustain, and with the Medivh Charism, they kind of learned last game that the 1.5 supports hurt them a lot, so they're going to opt to do the same, try and get as much damage out of their supports as possible. But we will go ahead and introduce our teams. Adults with Jobs, we have Tatva on the Falstad, Mirmaduk on Ragnaros, Nats on Malfurion, Randy on Lily, Retrofunk on the Garrosh. And on the side of Team Maroon, we have Edgardo GL on Tychus, Space Bacon on the Charism, Samael on Dahaka, Blanket on Joanna, and I apologize once again, Coca-Cola on Medivh. I don't know why I can't remember that name. Should be pretty simple. Alright, so Team Maroon's going to go ahead and opt to take the vision first. They have the Medivh vision as well, so they have great map control. Team Adults with Jobs, they're going to go ahead and opt to split out, do a 1v1 right now. Just send 2 solo laners and just kind of look to soak mid with their 2 supports and their tank right now. Take a look. Team Maroon will just opt to 4-man rotate, which will work out well for them. They have a very decent amount of wave clear with Blanket, Joanna, and Edgardo. Tychus, Joanna both have good wave clear. So we have Unrivaled Strength, Sulfurous Hungers, Nature's Swiftness, Wind Serpent, and Wingman, Laws of Hope, Raven's Intellect, Dash, Iron Fist, and Enhanced Agility. So both teams hoping to get as much damage out of every character they have. We'll look to see who ends up having the most of their teams. There's I imagine, thinking about the numbers, I would think that with Medivh and Karazhan, they're actually going to have the more damage. However, there's a lot more heals available on the side of Adults with Jobs. So. Alright, so the siege camp was picked up by Adults with Jobs. I'm going to try and look to see what they can get done with it. Just with Tatva and Randy here. Response siege pickup by the side of Team Maroon. See who has the better push. I imagine this would go to Team Maroon as to the amount of push in that they have with their camp, but they're going to go ahead and rotate off. Coca-Cola is not the best solo laner, so he's not going to get, he'll just be able to soak and throw his little hand energy balls every now and then. Now top we have Samael and Marmaduke. Marmaduke looks like he's, I don't want to say winning, but he's given Dahaka a little bit of a rough time. Team Maroon opting to get their Bruiser camp. First objective is coming up. We'll see who opts to go where. Tatva, I imagine, will sit in the lane for as long as possible, try and get as much possible siege damage on soak as possible. Both teams are mostly even in experience. Tatva does have to be careful. Gank is a very real possibility. I believe that was a miscue by Coca-Cola.
My magic flows through the temples. Guardians, do not let me.
Now, Samael does have a little bit of an advantage pushing with his Bruiser camp. However, we're going to have a fight on mid keep. Retrofunk taking a ton of damage. Edgardo, I imagine, pulled his trait onto Retro, and then the damage from Coca-Cola is not insubstantial. These fights, I would imagine, are going to go on for a very long time. Samael comes up, has a great grab on Nats, however, Retro says nope, throws Samael out of the way, and resets the fight just a little bit. Going to have both teams opt to fight for mid. That's a good throw, however, the Falstad does go down. We have a trait pop by Ragnaros. He ends up finishing off Tychus with it. Samael going in a little deep, getting thrown in. Space Picking going to be able to save himself. However, Samael not going to be able to do the same. He actually ends up getting thrown in and taken out. So 2-for-1 pickup on the side of Adults with Jobs. It's going to give Team Maroon is going to come up here and try and get as many shots as they can. Thankfully for them, that is a Dahaka down, so he will be able to burrow back in a relatively short order. But for the meantime, they're going to get pushed off this top temple. Now, Team Maroon did end up getting most of the shots on the temple, I believe, here. Oh, tried to grab Nats, didn't quite get it. They're going to go ahead and they're going to go deep into the side of Adults with Jobs, and that earns them 3 kills and the temple. Great knowledge to know that they can just go in there and trust both of their supports to keep them alive. Ultimately, Garrosh ends up going down under tower too. He does. Minions were soaking the tower shots, so because of that, Team Maroon picks up the first fort of the game. Tatva is trying to work on the towers, picked up one. Gonna go ahead and fly up and clear mid. Trying to split soak as much as possible. Unfortunately, without Tatva being at those team fights, they did struggle. If they opted to split soak, they may have wanted to not go quite so hard on the objective. Retro going in and taking a ton of damage. I think he's overestimating. He just wants a throw, but he's overestimating the amount of armor that he's going to get versus the Tychus. Nats is low, Retro is low. They both get out. However, the Falstad does take a death. And another fort goes down by Team Maroon. So neither team really opting to focus bot as of yet, but Team Maroon doesn't care. They're going to go top fort, bottom or mid fort, and now boss. They are with the 10 advantage. They have a pretty strong advantage. not going to really have any trouble taking this down. Now the gank attempt on Samael top, 3v1, he may actually go down here. He's going to try and with the brush tracker, just waddle his way out with no problem. Boss is taken by Team Maroon, and they're going to look to take at the very least the wall and maybe the healing fountain. That'll be a great advantage for them on the objective. However, Siege Giants are going to help them with the boss just a little bit. All four, except for the Dahaka, the other four are pushing with this boss, trying to get as much damage as possible. 10s have been picked up. Let's talk about that real quick here. We have Warlord's Challenge, Lava Wave, Twilight Dream, Check of 1,000 Cups. Trait comes out by Ragnaros, is going to go ahead and defend the keep. They do, or the fort, they do lose the healing well. We have Blessed Shield, Polybomb, Commander Odin, 7-sided strike, and isolation, so they're going full damage. We do not have an ult from Falstad as of yet. This is an okay grab on the... Oh, he did end up going for Meme Beam. Garrosh, however, does go down. He tries to be up in that front, but solo warrior and the rather insubstantial heals in short periods of time. No burst healing on the side of Adults with Jobs. They can't sustain him for very long. Ragnaros ended up going down in that fight as well. So this is going to be a free tower and fort for Team Maroon. They are just owning all of the lanes right now. Tatva doing what they can to try and soak the experience up as much as possible. But the team fighting looks really good from Team Maroon. Samael being very aggressive. He has no backup, so he's being a little bit over-aggressive, but doesn't seem to matter too much. Again, Falstad continuously split-soaking here. We do get an engaged 4v5. Nice silence. All 5, I believe. Blanket not caring too much about that. We have a nice throw. Unfortunately, it is on the tank, so they're not going to be able to engage on that too much. Meme Beam does go out, does quite a bit of damage. Got a couple of cooldown reductions on that. He's going to look to be very aggressive, and that is actually likely going to end up with a death for him. However, Samael does get thrown in, but again, with the Medivh, the save on them, he's not going to die. Medivh doing great job keeping those that get thrown in alive. However, Garrosh is opting to throw the front line almost exclusively, so they're not being able to follow up on much. Alright, we have a Bruiser camp picked up on the side of Team Maroon. Now with the wingman, Tatva is going to pick this up relatively quickly on their side as well. Take a look at our 13s, Holy Fury, Circle of Protection, that's the stuff, Sixth Sense, and Primal Swarm. So we have mostly Dark Swarm talents by Dahaka, so they definitely look to team fight. Team Maroon going to go ahead and invade on the siege camp. Just barely missed a tongue on Marmaduke there. 13s are just about to be picked up. Like I said, Tatva doing their best to soak as much experience, pull up the experience. Can't pull it up there, so let's go ahead and pull up the window. Falstad with nearly twice as much as anyone else on their team. However, Dahaka is soaked just as much. So the very difficult to close the gap when both teams have a split soaker like that. Alright, so they're looking to split the temples. Team Maroon is in an okay position to do that. It doesn't harm them really at all. They're going to get a keep out of this. It's actually, it would behoove Adults with Jobs to actually play aggressively here on the even talent tiers, but they opt to just split instead. That is likely going to cost them. With the boss coming up here in about 20 seconds, Team Maroon with 16s can look to just end with a boss if they decide to do so. It looks like they're going to go ahead and rotate up top instead. Okay, so they're looking to be aggressive. Instead of the boss, they're going to look to do the safe option, and that's force an engagement, catch someone out of position, which is likely going to happen. We have Tonfa back. It is a 5v4. The team, they can engage hard. Malfurion goes instantly down. Rencho Frunk throws out the taunt. However, he's going to go ahead and very slowly get taken down. Mean Beam goes out. I don't know. Is that a full reset? Almost a full reset. Actually, it looks like it hit 4 people, but doesn't make too much of a difference in the fact that 2 people have gone down. Tank and main support. So this is going to be a free boss for Team Maroon and possibly the game with the 16 advantage. They still have Odin. They still have 7-sided. Polybomb's going to be up in just a moment, and so is Isolation. So all of their ults will be up. Lava Wave is up for Adults with Jobs. Doesn't do a whole heck of a lot against the boss, but it is a little bit of a deterrent. If his trait is up as well, that will help ever so slightly to defend. But I imagine that Team Maroon goes for the throat here.
The blue team's core is being assaulted.
Coca-Cola does in deep with the shields. Malfurion again just immediately erased. Medivh does die here, but again, Garrosh follows very quickly to the Malfurion. Falstad's down, and I think at this point, with the Odin coming out, that this is a game number 2 win by Team Maroon, taking it 2-0 for what looks like their first game of week number 4. Great games by both teams. That was a very, very decisive victory for Team Maroon. So we are going to go ahead and take a look at the post-game stats here. Rag did substantial amount of soak for his team, actually out-soaking Falstad. Lava Wave value there. One of the major issues that we had was that Garrosh went in quite a bit and was just immediately poked down by the Tychus and all the other damaged Medivh. So Garrosh didn't get a ton of value, and similar to game 1, that the tank just died too quick to really be of a substantial value. Go ahead and update our score for you guys out there. There we go. 0-2, 2 points for Team Maroon. Take a look at our damage here. Ragnaros sitting at the top. I think he did relatively well, only taking 2 deaths that game. He did opt for the mostly Q build, which with the relatively heavy front line of Team Maroon, that's not a bad option. And we look at the healing, even with the double support, because both of the supports had to go quote-unquote damage talents. There's not a ton of damage talents. Vengeful Roots, there's an auto attack talent that it doesn't do a whole hell of a lot for him. Their supports, their double supports did less than Karazim. Medivh didn't have to do a lot of heavy lifting with the shields this game. He did just portal in aggressively yet again, and do what Medivh do, so to speak. So great games again, both teams. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna see if I can get Team Maroon's captain in here. Chat with them in just a moment. Alright, so we're going to start with Blanket. See what he has to say. Alright, let's go ahead and drop him in here. Let's go to our caster view. It's going to be the captain of Team Maroon, Blanket. Hey, Blanket.
Alrighty.
Hey, great games.
Thank you.
You guys, you did a lot of work with that Medivh. I do want to talk about that here just a moment. But let's talk about game number one. You guys, seeing that it was picked up in both games, I kind of doubt it. But was Medivh a planned choice for you guys game one?
Yes. We've had some good games with him, so it's pretty powerful when with Coca-Cola on him.
Yeah, he played it extremely well. Um, Game one, there was a lot of saves. You guys with the comps that were there with the dive Mambo potential from Adults with Jobs, they had the ability to blow you guys up, but Medivh kind of put a little bit of a threw a wrench in the works there, and you guys ended up just being the aggressors and portaling in and just erasing everyone. Still with me?
Yes, sir. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. So, tell me what was the thinking behind the Medivh and the Gul'dan? Why'd you opt for a second mage?
Well, with that, we saw the ETC pick, and we were honestly trying to choose between Hanzo and Gul'dan at that point, and we thought since Gul'dan has the fear, and since they had pretty beefy front line, and Gul'dan can just throw his spells in there, so that's why we opted to.
Okay, yeah, I was surprised to see Hanzo go through both drafts, neither team banning or picking him. But game number one, you guys had a little bit of a rough spot at the end there, right before the last few towers, where they actually turned and killed three of you. Do you know what happened in that fight?
I think there was a little bit of a miscommunication. We that was just picking and choosing, and then getting a little bit off call.
Gotcha. Yeah, that can be a little scary, especially on Towers of Doom. So, that was your guys' map choice. Do you guys often play TOD?
We do. We've had some pretty good experiences with Towers of Doom, especially if you've seen our past games.
Okay, great. I don't get to see it picked up very much. A lot of teams tend to shy away from it because the decision making on that map can be difficult for some teams. But you guys seem to have a pretty handy handled it really well. So I kind of want to talk about game number two. You guys opted to ban Maiev first. What was the reasoning behind that?
We really didn't want to have to play against a Maev Stukov combo, and since we had first pick, we opted to go ahead and just ban Maev, so we didn't have to worry about the combo.
Okay, and then they opted to ban the Stukov, which I think was a good decision on their part. Those two do go together really well. Looking at the screen here, 14-minute game. Um, you guys only dropped 3 deaths, so game two, you guys were on top of it the entire game, and just a very very decisive win game number two. So congratulations on the domination. Do you have anything you wanted to say to anyone or your team?
Just hopefully we can keep on doing well like we did the most of the second game. Hopefully we continue this throughout the NGS series.
Yeah, and that, if I remember, that brings you up to 5 dominations on the season, right?
I believe so.
All right, so you guys are looking strong. Like I said, good luck to the rest of your season. Hopefully, you guys can continue to keep winning, and bring it. Hopefully, get up top there. I am on A East, so I'm potentially scouting all the West teams for in the far future if we happen to make it to the finals and meet up with you guys eventually. So again, good luck in the rest of your season.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so that was Blaine Cat with Team Maroon. I'm going to go ahead and see if we can get Retro in here and have a conversation with him. Well, if you are just joining us, that was Blanket with Team Maroon. We had this is a Div A West match for Week 4. Team Maroon up 2-0 on the match. They, as I said in the interview, they are now 5-1-1. Adults with Jobs is going to drop to 3-1-2, I believe. That's what they told me. Yeah, they were 3-1-1, so they're going to go 3-1-2 for their season so far. So it's an unfortunate drop for them. If you guys are waiting, if you guys are enjoyed the cast, if you'd like to see more, I will be casting more, as well as my own personal gameplay. I am enjoying casting for NGS very much. I look to continue to do it season in and out, every season, so long as I have the time. But if you would like to see more from me, go ahead and throw me a follow. I'd be more than happy to see you guys every day that I stream. But still waiting here. I'm going to wait another couple of minutes for Retro, and then we'll go ahead and call it an evening if I can't get a hold of them. And that was a great couple of games. Game 1 it was a little bit back and forth. I'm very excited to. I was very excited to see that it wasn't a stomp. You know, it was looking really good for Team Maroon, but Adults with Jobs just didn't go down quiet. They went down fighting, and ultimately it just came to there was too much pressure. There wasn't a whole lot that they could do at that point in time because of how far behind they were, and yeah, it just ultimately game 2. It looks like they couldn't get anything to click. The double main heals may have been a little bit of a problem, but you know, I'd be curious to see what the thinking is behind that. However, not getting a response from Retro, so I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna call it a night. Again, thank you very much for joining the stream here with me. Again, if you'd like to see more from me, go ahead and throw me a follow, and I hope to see you guys next time. I am streaming again tomorrow evening. We do have Onslaught versus Project XD at 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. EST. That is a Division C team, and I hope to see you there. Till then, have a wonderful evening. Thank you for joining me, and good night.